Hello, friends. We want to talk a little bit about CFCLI and plugins. Specifically, we want to touch a couple aspects. So maybe like you just get your phones ready to capture a couple QR codes, and we'll start like by introducing Norm. Welcome.
Okay. I'm Norm Abramovitz. I've been involved with Cloud Foundry now since 2015. What's interesting is I've been involved in the hardware software industry um, um, for over 50 years. I touched my first IBM 360 Rex box. And so what I did was, for my background, if you could tell or not, is I researched on Google to find out what could be found about me. And so one of the things I discovered was I was a visionary because I was involved in TCP IP design when it came out with TCP3 and TCP4. Okay. I also was involved with a little company called RSI, which was Oracle. I remember having arguments with Larry Ellison about doing column-based storage versus row-based storage. So there's some visionary there's early on. And the main thing is I like to work with knowledgeable people, and that's what I find about Cloud Foundry. Tons and tons of knowledgeable people here. So thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Um, I'm Al Berez. I'm obsessed with developers, automation, and productivity. I've been a Cloud Foundry core contributor for the last 6 years. Very privileged to work with very talented people. Now I'm looking for my next chapter and role. Um, Please feel free to take a snapshot of this QR code. Um, and the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about our objectives and goals. As many know that our CAPI v2 is deprecated. Yay. As of December 24. Um, End of life is planned around the end of 26, which is next year. And a lot conversation happen in RFC 32. Our goal is to develop a roadmap for the next generation of CLI plugins because currently there is no clear alignment what to do, and we need decisions and we need your help. Please take a snapshot of this QR code. This QR code, it's a document, Google document. It's a pre-RFC work in progress document where we would like any stakeholders to participate and share like your needs and your ideas about plugin system. Um,
So what I wanted to do is make sure we put in front of us the end goal because all engineers want to know what we're working towards before we get into the story how we got there. So basically, we need to make RFCs for the TOC. We need more help in terms of getting people to uh, do any coding, and we'd like to get this all done before the Q1 2026. So it's a big project that we're talking about here. My experience, okay, my experience has been with the plugins was I started about 2 years ago and trying to figure out how to use the system. And you look over other plugins and what's going on. And one of the things I discovered was what's this um, code.cloudfoundry.org. They built a redirection in the coding, which caused some issues because when that redirection went down, everything broke. Nothing worked. And then the other thing was I discovered as I was looking at it is that the the code to use for plugins was frozen in time. If you could tell that this is frozen from September of 2020, it's still frozen to September 2020. There's nothing been new added to it. So we need to figure out what we want to do with plugins overall. And because we waited so long, what do we have? we have code being archived, which means we have code within our CF command right now that is archived away. So do we really need that? We need to figure out how to improve the situation. And Al, you talk about some more facts.
Absolutely. Well, there is a good reason like why it's been frozen. It's because we need to maintain some compatibility with plugins. And since plugins read and parse output of older commands, that's why we have like this Jurassic Park area in our code base, which we're very much willing to get rid of. And that's where we need help of community. Also worth mentioning that transition. So basically, we have this situation like with plugins when we moved from a Go dApp to manage dependencies of CFCLI to Go modules. Currently, it's been pointed to the pre V6 code, and it's located in CF subfolder of CLI repository. And in reality, like many currently plugin authors, they just like have to find like different workarounds, like using copy or shelling out instead of relying on this plugin interface. Also, there is a bigger question about what is plugin ecosystem for CFCLI. Right now, we have repository, also known as like Clipper, and we would like to better understand like what really like plugin being in this repository means. We don't do any security scanning of this repository, like whitelisted plugins. We are not testing compatibility with older version of CLI, with any versions of CLI, or any Cloud Foundry CF deploy versions. Some plugins functionality already been ported inside the modern like V8 CLI. Many plugins are broken. Um, Even talking about architecture, so these days, like many Linux machines, like run on ARM. Many Macs run on ARMs. Uh, Plugins they do not support this architecture. So building finally, to be able to enable developers to build new plugins and modernize plugins, our current documentation and directions, like how to build or upgrade, like they just like really, really out of date. Or-
So how can we rethink how we want to do the architecture? Um, the main thing for me was the ability to have a consistent programmable output from it. So you'll be able to read the data no matter where you're at. Maybe it's JSON format, maybe it's YAML format, maybe it's XYZ format, it doesn't really matter. We don't know what format to use. Some of the commands do it, some of the commands don't. We want to get some consistency there. The other thing is there's no hooks. What I mean by hooks is within the current commands, would you like to have things like before you do a CF push, would you like to do um, an antivirus scan? Or before you create a space, does your organization have a naming convention to use? Right? Things like that. So we like to be able to put in hooks within the CLI, maybe pre and post operations to do it. The other thing is right now the plugins are generally written towards Go, right? It's all Go code. Well, it doesn't have to be Go code. It's just an executable. It could be a shell script. It doesn't really matter. Do we need something that could be more expansive than it is? Okay. The other thing is um, we have a lifecycle management, but the one thing it doesn't do is upgrades. You don't know there's a new upgrade to the coming plugin. And right now we only have a place to put public plugins, but we all know there are private plugins as well. So you need to have a lifecycle management that you'll be able to specify how to upgrade plugins at some point. And also, it'd be nice to be able to, instead of looking at documents and copying code and cut and paste and looking around, have ability to generate a framework for the plugin itself. So if you're doing a plugin for hooks, it looks a little different. If you're doing a plugin to do things like uh, get information from your services, that can be a different type of style. And the real question is, do we really need backward compatibility? Because this is a new level, major version change. So do we really care about backward compatibility? Like I said on my slide, I like to break things. So I don't think we need compatibility in the background. But again, that's not up to me. It's up to the community. All right. So the main takeaway is go to the Slack channel, go ahead and look at the CF plugins and provide us feedback so we can figure out what we want to do so we can create the necessary RFCs that we need to create. And stay tuned. We'll start having um, plugin meetings so people who are interested stakeholders, we can have a common meeting and come together and talk about this topic.
Let's take a picture like that's a direct link like to the Google document. Thank you very much for listening. Please take an action. Please participate, and let's figure out like what to do with these plugins. Thank you.